Hello and welcome to the episode of Games with Zane. We are playing a brand new game called Kingdoms and Castles. It came out today, uh, maybe yesterday for some people. That's not that important. So this game looks like it harkens back a little bit to some of the idea of Stronghold. I very much enjoyed that game way back when. And it's a bit more fun, more fun-looking, cartoony in its appearance, not nearly as bleak as Stronghold originally was, but it does appear to harken back to it. I've only taken a minute to play previously, just to kind of, I've played this Paxlon with no threats for a little bit, just to kind of get a feel of the interface and how a handful of things work. I didn't get that far into it. What we're going to do is play on this easy mode, Summerin. It's a good region for new rulers. That would be me. This has an interesting summer-winter mechanic you kind of have to deal with, and we've got a handful of enemy objectives to work with. And that's something that I didn't get to play with at all in my my previous go. So we're going to take this, and we can kind of choose between a handful of randomized initial settings. Just take a quick look at some of those. I can move this around. Interesting. Lots of wooded area. That will kind of make sense in just a moment, because wood is an incredibly important resource in this game. Having good access to wood is important. I think. Although randomization, when it really just doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll go with this. We'll accept that. Rivervale, that sounds very nice. I like the red falcon going on. You see we've got a handful of different, I like the 20-sided die too. We're going to go with red falcon as our banner. I don't think it really matters. So we have an unpopulated land, and we can start kind of anywhere. The first thing that we need is a keep. So what we've got here, we've got woods going on, as well as this bit of stone. The stone that you can actually harvest and build. The dark stones are unusable and just kind of in the way. You can remove them eventually, but it takes a bit. There's iron ore as well, and then you can see that the ground has different fertility settings. This is barren, and that has to do with the food output that the land will have. So let's take a quick look here. See, things are very pretty, very cartoony, and the clouds kind of move away when you come into the area. It's kind of nice. But supposedly everything is procedurally generated and works off of a set of rules to have things regrow and to actually have weather, which is kind of interesting. This area is occupied by a lot of rocks. We want to be able to use them. We will be able to use them eventually. Seeing good clear space to put our keep down. Maybe overthinking this too much. I am. When I first played, there was a lot of open space to work with. I think we may go here on this bit of barren land. So there we go. We've got workers coming up, and one of the first things that we are going to want to do is to get a house. Oops. So our people have to live in houses, and that is kind of important to them. But before we can even do that, we have to have roads coming from our keep. So we are going to place a handful of roads headed out this way. And we are also going to go ahead and clear cut. So we've got two different options for taking out trees. We can either clear cut them, or we can build up a lumber station that kind of harvests the woods in a more sustainable way. But right now we are just going to clear cut this area out. This is going to be our main inhabitant area, and we're probably going to put lots of farming back there. So let's get a couple of houses going. And houses have some requirements for happiness. In particular, they do like to be next to a road. And roads do kind of have a function in this game for things have to get transported across the road and all of that. We've got some advisor stuff going on here. What does the military say? Good day, sire. Yeah. New construction. No one available to build it. Very close. Buildings and building new homes. Yes, we are working on building a home. And we need farms. So with the food, we also need roads up there. See what I mean? So what this is kind of showing you, this outline around the roads, where you've got a little bit of highlight, shows you where your buildings can be built. There, but there. You see, they've got to be within a certain distance of the road. I believe all of this was very fertile, so we're going to start off by putting a handful of farms down here. Then after that, we are going to build roads leading out of our main settlement. There is a quarry. There are other quarries here as well. I think we are going to build a bridge across unless these are good. That's unusable stone. That is also unusable stone. That is iron. This was also unusable. Yep. But here we have usable stones, where we need to build a quarry. Two people visited. Yeah, our buildings are maxed out. We can still build a handful more hovels. So what we've got going on is we have stockpiles of resources. Here is wood, what I found to be probably the second most important resource in the game. We have stone that comes from, we kind of talked about that, these, which we are going to attempt to acquire next. We got food, and food is highly important, because people can starve without it, and that's why we're building farms is our second deal. There is gold. It takes a little while to get some gold going. You have to have, I think it's in the town. Still learning where some of these things are. Not in the town. It is with the castle. The treasury room. In the treasury room, you can begin taxing people. So we have got some clear cutting going. We definitely need a place to produce stone. So that is going to be the next thing that we want to accomplish. We will most likely be building another road coming off this way and bridging it across. We are just going to go ahead and clear cut all of this. So yeah, that will get us hopefully some of the stone or the wood that we need to continue expanding out. So I did kind of choose this area because it, I would assume, would be a defensible position. I have no idea what what types of bad guys are going to be coming at us. Definitely, this area over here is great for defensibility, settlement, but then this is definitely where industry is going to be. So let's see, right across there, yeah. So let's do our town, and we are going to build a road headed out this way. And then we are going to have a bridge that has to be connected. And we can go ahead and clear cut these. You know, just in this area, we're going to not have any trees left. But we are going to offset that by, as quickly as we can, trying to build the forester. So to have the forester, we need some stones. We got to get a quarry up. But the forester then allows you to basically harvest the trees sustainably. Go ahead and chop that down as well. So yeah, we've got another house. We can house 5 more people with that. Another thing that we're going to want to get quickly up and going is a granary. The granary, so what will happen is, you can see here we are working on building some wheat, and towards the end of the summer, the wheat will be harvested, and it has to be transported to a place where it can be used, such as the keep or the granary. And if they have to travel too far, then you can lose some resources out of that. And I do kind of wish there was a way to prioritize what everyone does, because I would very much like this tree gone next. Is this still no idle workers available? Waiting for 3 lumber. I would like this removed so that I can continue building my my path. So I guess we will cancel several of these. I'd like to have that just queued up. I do kind of need them to finish clearing off this area. In particular, that one. But I guess while we wait a little bit, we will build at least one more hovel. Let's have them all face the same way. As you can see, we now have more people working the farms. Villagers for 3. Waiting for 5. You see those thunderstorms. This is what they're talking about, that dynamic weather system. Though it does seem as though it's all over the entire map and not really dynamic. It's just on. But one thing that is kind of there is you can, I think, see some water pooling up. And so your fields can be flooded. And that may be what this is signifying. I'm not sure. That's interesting. I definitely didn't notice that in my last playthrough. I know at one point I had one farm one time get flooded, but that was it. Yeah, we're still waiting on them to clear the one freaking tree. It looks like someone's working on it right now. Lovely. So once it's up, we will continue our road out. And we're hitting our first winter, I think. Maybe it has, and I just haven't really noticed it. But winter is coming, and yay, we can build our road. And continue that out with a bridge. Let's see, how close does that quarry need to be? It does have to be adjacent to the stone itself, and that looks like that works. Lovely. So that is important to get. So we need 5 of those and 15 wood to be able to build a forester. We will also have our forester like somewhere in here. Let's go ahead and build a couple more road slots, and then we can get a handful more wood. We will build our first forester. And it looks like this is flooded now that it's built. Due to heavy rains, the harvest is lost. But I believe it fixes itself at some point, and fairly quickly, it seemed like. Yeah, basically, we have to wait until we get 5 stone, and then we will be able to build our first forester. What's our population looking like? We've got 11 of 15. Our food stores seem to be staying pretty even. And we are getting close to our population cap now. Let's take a quick look around here. We need 8 more wood. And these guys are definitely bringing the wood out. Once that is done, we'll get some workers, and I believe they will continue felling trees just like that. So I believe they're waiting on just a little bit more. Here comes some. And I believe that basically with the trees, it gets felled and it's left on the ground, and that goes into our count, as opposed to the food, which you can see they have harvested the wheat. It's in some what looks like bales here, and the people are picking it up and taking it to the keep. You can see we've got a little bit of stockpiles going on here. We got a little bit for food and some for wood right here. So sometimes they will pick it up and move it into the keep, and I'm not sure if we lost it or if it's still being used, but winter definitely seemed like it was very mild, very short. But anyway, how are we doing on that quarry? We are beginning to get stone. So we are maxed on our population. It would be important for us. We've got a little bit extra wood. We are going to, let's see about, yeah, definitely having you face the road, just for aesthetics. And I think we're going to use this entire area along here as probably this right in here, as a central hub or spoke of our housing, because we do have different levels of housing. It just takes a minute to be able to get them. You see we've got a cottage. Our hovel supports 5 people, and there's one head of household that goes and collects resources for the food for the house members. You can see here we've got a cottage that houses up to 12 people, so there is a one. And this is a 2-tile building, and you can see it houses 1 extra person for the. In this case, it's 2. This one, it's only 1. Anyway, so you do get a little bit more efficiency out of your spacing with a cottage, and even a little bit more out of a manor. And we'll get into some of the other buildings and what they do as we go. It looks like we are about out of food itself, but they are beginning to bring the food from the harvest in. Now let's see, we've got plenty of stone now. So let's go ahead and, with our industry, we will build a forester. And yes, we can build a forester right there. I think I would have liked him a little bit closer, but that's okay. Here's where he's going to go. What we will do is see about bringing our road up this way eventually and back over here, and we can put more foresters into the area. So let's see. We lost 5 food out of that harvest. 5 food wasn't taken to the granary. So we've got 2 people idle with a little bit of wood going on. Why don't we see about building a couple more farms? Why don't we put them... Too far away from a road. This will be okay. We'll go ahead and put 1 right here. And just 1 for now. So we are starting to generate some stone, which will give us access to several other fun things. Mainly these taxes is an important one, but the other buildings for creating military and our castles. Alright. This is almost up and running. We're waiting for 12 more wood. We could go ahead and tell them to chop down these couple of places. Finish our clear cutting of this area. Alright, we'll see how much we're able to get in before winter, because this is still running a little close. We need we need 15. A dragon has been sighted. Oh boy, what's that mean? How is this going to affect us? We don't have much of a hamlet to really attack. And we definitely don't have any troops to take care of it. Interesting. My first dragon. Looks like they have a path, and unless you are on that path, they're probably not going to bother you. That's good, because I am not very established yet. What were we looking for? We were looking for a small granary. And I think I'm going to put this granary right here. Leave a little space for our iron mine, but have this in kind of a central location for where we're going to put most of our farms in this area. So that granary will be useful. What it's going to do is have a closer location for our farmers to take all of their goods, and it will also increase the amount of food we can store, so that's pretty useful. So, alright, we've got our first woodcutter's hut going, and we could, let's take a look at our town. So we can build a cottage, and I think I'm going to build a cottage right there, just like that. Yeah. So we'll place that one there, and we'll get a few more people coming in shortly. It's wonderful. The rest of this has been clear cut. So we have a bit of space to work with. The next thing we should probably do with our industry is build an iron mine, so we need just a little bit more wood for that. So we've got lots of food coming in. Our granary is not yet done. It will be finished probably next year. And we are going to put an iron mine here after the other things are all built. So one other fun thing we should do for some happiness. So our iron mine right next to the iron stone. So we have a handful of modifiers here as well that affect our happiness, like the church and the library. And this is really significant in our resources. So we lost a lot of food from that. Not getting our maximum because they have to walk so far to take care of it. But if they just have to go right here, then that's actually really good. So yeah, the town square and the tavern, obviously the tavern makes everybody happy, right? After a hard day's work, go have a pint. And the next thing I think we will do is to see about moving a bit closer to this area. So that once those are built, we will be able to hopefully build another forester, either right here or right in there, something like that. So it's out of the range of this one, because they can't be too close. I haven't tested exactly how close yet, but they do have like this visible area. I wonder if they just have to be outside of it, or if they have to like not overlap. So I may try to stick it here if I can. But we'll see exactly what we can do. So lovely, our granary is built. No, it's not. It's got just a little bit more wood to go. Our house is also almost built. So that is sad that we've got another harvest. We're going to lose some productivity, but it's not that big a deal, I don't think. Just would have been nice for this to have been finished to gather that up. Oh, and another thing that I didn't really use, haven't quite yet found a use for, is that you can pause this game and you've got speed settings along the lines of most Paradox games. But I think that's where I'm going to end this episode. We've got a nice start going. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and we'll see where this leads in the next episode.